The fourth day of the fifth regular session of the 20th Congress will now come to order. May we all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Okay, Chief Clerk, roll call.
Senator Alec, Senator Aritos, Senator Figuer, Senator Goland, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Goodman, Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Ned, Senator Penuelo, Senator Perman, Senator Romulo, Senator Rismal, Senator Wally, Speaker Simena.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 13 members are present.
We have quorum to transact business this morning. Next item, reading of the journal, Floor Leader Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning to you and all honorable members, as well as our staff, including those that are serving from our gallery. Again, I move to dispense with the reading of our journal.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we dispense with the reading of our journal. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. We now dispense with the reading of the journal. Next item, Chief Clerk.
Item 5, Mr. Speaker, Presidential Communications on receipt of numbers 20-319 and 20-320.
Okay, Chief Clerk assigned those. Next item.
Item 6, FSM Supreme Court Communications, none, Mr. Speaker.
Next.
Item 7, Member Communications, none.
Next.
Item 8, Departmental Communications, we have one, and it's number 20-72.
Okay. Sign that, Chief Clerk. That's an important one. Next item.
Item 9, Agency or Governmental Authority Communications, none, Mr. Speaker.
Continue.
Item 10, State Communications, there are none. Item 11, State Supreme Court Communications, none. Item 12, Municipal or Town Communications, there are none, Mr. Speaker. And for item 13, Foreign Government Communications, we're in receipt of 2, and their numbers 20-61 and 20-62.
Sign those, Chief Clerk. Next item, order of the day. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, we have an awaiting list number 20-38.
Okay. Short recess. Subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're on the standing committee report calendar. There's a waiting list. Chairman Fakir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to place Congress Standing Committee Report number 20-77 on the Standing Committee reports for action.
Any second? It's moved and seconded that Standing Committee Report number 20-77 be placed on the Standing Committee Report calendar for action. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Standing Committee Report number 20-77 is now placed on the calendar, Standing Committee Report calendar for action.
Speaker.
Chairman Fakir.
I yield the floor to...
Okay, Floor Leader Harper, make your
Thank you,
motion.
Speaker, and thank you, Chairman. Again, just to make sure we're not violating any of our rules, I hereby suspend any relevant rules that may impede our action on that Standing Committee report.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that any relevant rule specifically the rule requiring 24-hour waiting period be suspended. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The relevant rules are now suspended. Okay, Chairman Figure, motion for adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Congress adopt Standing Committee Report number 20-77.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Congress adopt Standing Committee Report number 20-77. Discussion. Any discussion on that report? Sorry, Chairman Romulo? Oh, question. Okay, so motion to stop debate. If there is no objection, debate is closed. So let's vote on the report. Those in favor of the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 20-77 say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Standing Committee Report number 20-77 is adopted by Congress. Next report, Chief Clerk.
Yeah, we still have reports on the waiting list.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on the Standing Committee Report. There is an awaiting list. We have one report from JANCO that's going to be done tomorrow, according to our rules. So if there's no further report, next item, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker.
Chief Clerk.
Speaker.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session.
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Aritos, you have the floor. State your point.
Yes, the point of privilege to introduce some officials from Chuk who are observing our session this morning. I start with Lieutenant Governor Mario Sacabito, Adopt Shows, Special Assistant to the Governor, and my Mayor Henry Nobon, Olation Municipality, and Mayor F. Taichita, Banda Municipality. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Aritos, for the introduction. Yes, we indeed, this Congress, their Congress, welcomes all of its citizens, no matter of their political preference. So that, just want to make sure it's clear. They are all welcome to
Speaker.
serve our session. So,
Speaker.
Short recess, Mr. Speaker.
now we're in session.
Point of privilege.
Short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session.
Speaker.
Yes,
Point of
Chairman
privilege.
Panuelo, state your point.
Yeah, Speaker, I wasn't going to ask for a point of privilege, but as we were coming back, I noticed my brother with the same haircut that just walked in the door, our National Election Commissioner and former Congressman. Let's give our good friend Tony Oddo a round of recognition, please. Tony, welcome. And also, Speaker, if you allow me to recognize our Chief Minister of WHO, not Tagar Daniel, as I made the mistake, but Tagar Abraham, so I apologize again and welcome Tagar Abraham, our Chief Minister. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Panuelo, for introducing those two gentlemen. They're always welcome to observe our session, especially when it comes to the election director, when he's not working. He should be observing our session. Okay. If there's no further point of privilege, and there being nothing under special committee report, next item, Chief Clerk.
Yeah, there are no special committee reports. Item 16, assignment of measures and communications. We have a referral sheet number 20-81.
Okay, Chairman and members, take a look at that, review it for planning purposes. Next item.
Item 17, unfinished business. None, Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Mr. Speaker, item 18, bill calendar. The first bill on the bill calendar is CB number 20-234 for second reading. CB number 20-234, it's a bill for an act to appropriate the sum of $7 million from the general fund of the Federated States of Micronesia for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2018, for the purpose of funding public projects and social programs for the people of Yap, Koshai, Pohnpei, and Chuk states, and for other purposes.
Chairman Fakir,
So recess.
short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Chairman Fakir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Congress pass Congress Bill number 20-234 on second and final reading.
It's moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading, CB number 20-234. Discussion. Chairman Ursula.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I believe there are proposed amendments to the bill that have been printed, duplicated, and distributed, and the amendments are rather lengthy, so I request that the reading of the amendments be suspended.
Okay, make the motion for,
So I therefore, with your approval of the suspension of reading the amendments, I move for the adoption of the floor amendments.
it's moved. Any second? It's moved and seconded that the offered floor amendments to CB number 20-234 offered by Chairman Urusimo be adopted, and because of its length, we will dispense with its reading. It will be inserted into the record. Okay. Any rules to suspend? Floor?
Thank you, Speaker. I move to suspend again any relevant rules that may impede our action on the said amendment.
It's moved and seconded that any relevant rules, specifically the rules prohibiting substantive amendments on second and final reading, be suspended. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The rules are now suspended. So discussion on the offered floor amendments.
Speaker,
Okay, short recess subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on discussion of the offered floor amendments to CB 20-234. Chairman Panuelo, you have the floor.
yes, Speaker, we thank you. Speaker, on the floor amendment before Congress now, I wish to offer oral amendments to my public projects, and page 1, item 3, sub-item B, where it reads next Soke sidewalk development, just had matching to it. After development, insert matching.
Okay,
And
continue.
on page 2, same listing of projects, sub-item S, where it reads Tolonier Sidewalk Project, also add matching after project, or matching after sidewalk. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. It's moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments to the proposed floor amendments to CB 20-234 as offered by Chairman Panuelo be adopted. The relevant rules are still suspended. So discussion on the offered oral amendments.
Speaker, I made those amendments because Senator Moses, Vice Speaker, and Chairman Berman are matching with similar amounts for these areas that's listed in the line item. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Panuelo. That's the spirit of cooperation and working together, and we should all applaud you for that. Okay, any further discussion on the offer?
Speaker,
Yes, Floor Leader Harper.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a minor question. May I know where this Netsogas sidewalk gonna be constructed?
Thank you, Speaker.
Go ahead.
I thank the floor leader. We're getting close to the area where he resides, so I think he will be happy. But to be specific, Speaker, you know, Bombay delegation was doing STA sidewalk to Takechik, and I think it's starting to show. The one for Dolanier will pick up from STA school and come down to reach Simon's Market or Blue Nile. And the one that says Net Sokes will pick up from where it terminates at the Simon Market and pick up there and then go all the way down to reach Sokes Bridge after the St. Peter Church. I think we have many tourists and students who are walking in this area and hope that in future projects we'll be able to develop it from Simon's Market further down to Colonia or to the bank connecting to the road that goes up to Pix High School. Thank you, Speaker and Floor Leader.
Thank you, Chairman
Salamat.
Panuelo.
We were
Okay,
just,
any other?
just one small question on.
Go ahead.
I know I have no business requesting or asking question on the share by the at-large senator from Punape, but do I take it that the Net-Soka sidewalk will include improvement at the road going to Nets Point, so I can go and swim?
Speaker, I'll gladly answer, Chairman.
Go ahead,
please.
help him out. I think he's
And,
desperate. He wanted
And
to
as a
know
matter
if
of fact,
that road will be
did I
fixed.
list it? Let me see if I list in here, but it may have been an oversight. I was thinking of including Net Point, but it's definitely in my list. And in the next infrastructure projects, I was heading to Net Point the other night. Or was it night, Chairman V?
Oh, don't talk
Evening.
about Encore there.
Perhaps it was night time for you, but it was very much daytime for me.
Okay.
Thank you
so-
for reminding me.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so we stopped on the road greeting each other, and of course the road is very bumpy going to Net Point. So the chairman asked me when are we going to pave the Net Point road. So I told him that I will work with our vice speaker.
Well,
who's,
the Net Point
Net
is
Point.
used by all the
All,
people
yes.
residing in
So I
Ponte,
welcome other members from other delegations to match our road paving to Net Point. But that's going to be in the next infrastructure projects by Bombay delegation. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman
the
Panuelo. Of
Chairman
course, we all
Guzman.
use that place, but some use it more often than others. It's good. Okay, any other discussion on the offered oral amendments by Chairman Panuelo? If none, if there's no objection, discussion will be closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the offered oral amendments by Chairman Panuelo say yes.
Limang.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments are adopted. We're still discussing the floor amendments offered by Senate Chairman Ursumo as amended. Chairman Romulo.
Thank you, Speaker. Wish to make an oral amendment to the proposed amendment, floor amendment on page 5. Line item J. After the word "to," slash out representative, Senate, Chuk State Legislature, and insert Northwest Legislative Delegation in lieu thereof. So moved.
Second.
It's moved
On
and
what item is
seconded
that?
that the offered oral amendments by Chairman Romulo to the offered for amendments to CB 20-234 be adopted. The relevant rules are still suspended. Short recess. Congress is back in session. Any discussion on the offered oral amendments by Chairman Romulo? If none, if there's no objection, discussion is closed, so let's vote. Those in favor of the offered oral amendments by Chairman Romulo say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The floor amendments, offered oral amendments by Chairman Romulo are adopted. We have now the twice as amended. Okay, next, Vice Speaker Moses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you, members, and those observing from our gallery. My amendment would be on page 3 of the offered amendment, item 6, sub-item C, where it says net ECE laptops. Delete that in its entirety, and increase item G, where it says net school supplies and equipment, increase that to 20,000. And all the letters should move up accordingly.
Okay.
Thank you. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. It's moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments to the floor amendment to CB 20-234 as amended twice by Vice Speaker Moses be adopted. Discussion? Any discussion? If there is no discussion, we will now vote. Those in favor of the adoption of the offered oral amendments by Vice Speaker Moses say yes. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments are now adopted. Next, Senator Net.
Thank you, Speaker. My amendment is on page 2, number 5, line item F, correction of the spelling, non-capra, not non-capina. So it's NANKPIRA, R replacing N. And then line M, delete water tanks, replace and replace it with plans of water system improvement. So move.
It's moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments by Senator Net to the proposed floor amendments by Chairman Romulo be adopted. Short recess. Congress is back in session. We're still on discussion of the offered oral amendments by Senator Net. Any further discussion? Questions being called for. If there's no objection, debate is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the offered oral amendments by Senator Net say yes. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Those offered oral amendments are adopted. We now have the floor amendment to CB number 20-234 as amended 4 times. Oh, Senator Chairman Willing?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also have an oral amendment that I wish to offer at this time.
Okay, all right.
On page 1, section 2, item I, delete King Farm Road improvement, Billawil Melon, in its entirety, and insert contributions to community events, activities, and programs, and change the amount from 10 to 30,000. And also on sub-item Q, decrease the amount to 30,000 instead of 50. So move.
Okay, it's moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments by Chairman Willie be to the floor amendments to CB 20-234 be adopted. Discussion? Any discussion? Short recess. Congress is back in session. We're still on discussion of the offered oral amendments.
Question.
There's no questions being called for. If there's no objection, discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of the offered oral amendments by Chairman Wally, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments are adopted. The floor amendment to CB 20-234 has been amended 5 times. Any further amendments? If none, discussion on floor amendment.
So recess, Mr. Speaker.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on discussion of the offer for amendments to CB number 20-234 offered by Chairman Ursumol as amended 5 times. Okay, any further discussion? If none, if there is no objection, discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of floor amendments to CB number 20-234 offered by Chairman Ursumol as amended 5 times, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The floor amendments to CB 20-234 as amended 5 times have been adopted. We now have CT1. Chairman Ursumol, make your motion to defer to the end of the calendar.
Defer to the chairman of Ways and Means.
I so move, Mr. Speaker.
It's moved and seconded that CP number 20-234 CT1 be deferred to the end of our bill calendar today. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Speaker,
Yes.
Point of privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, say your point, Floor Leader Harper, before I give it to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'd like to express my admiration to our Chief Clerk for being so sharp and quick in taking our floor amendments. And in addition to that, I'd like to introduce 2 individuals who are observing our session this morning. First, I'd like to introduce Honorable Chief of Staff Falcom Jr. Secondly, I'd like to introduce my own constituent, who is also the Chief of Staff of the municipality, Rainer Soares. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any other point of privilege? If none, Chairman Figueroa, you have the floor.
I move that Congress reconsider Congress Bill 20-230.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Congress reconsider its action on CP number 20-230 CT2. This will require at least 3 votes of the delegations. So, Chief Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Speaker, for reconsideration of 230 CD2, State of Chuk, Chairman Aritos.
Chairman Romulo will cast a vote for Chuk.
Chairman Romulo.
Yes.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panuelo.
Aye.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursumol.
No?
OOI Niapins means yes.
Oh, okay. Confused us, so I thought you said no. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted for.
For that reason, reconsideration of our action on CP number 20-230 CD2 has been adopted. Our action has been reconsidered. Okay. Next bill, Chief Clerk.
Speaker,
Yes.
I move that Congress pass on second and final reading Congress Bill 20-230.
Okay, it's moved and seconded that Congress pass CP number 20-230 CD2 on second and final reading. Okay,
So
who's the
recess,
title?
Mr. Speaker.
Read the title, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, CB number 20-230 CD2. It's an act to amend or bill for an act to amend sections 1, 3, 8, and 9 of Public Law number 20-42 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-54, 20-64, 20-67, 20-83, 20-94, and 20-103 in order to appropriate $72,810,000 of additional funds from the general fund of the Federated States of Micronesia for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2018, to provide funding for the operations of the national government of the Federated States of Micronesia, various grants, subsidies, and contributions, and capital and human resources development, including additional funding for the FSM Trust Fund and for other purposes.
Okay, there you have it, Chairman Fakir.
I believe, Mr. Speaker, that we're reconsidering Congress Bill number 20-230, and it's in CD2. And for discussion purposes, I yield the floor to Chairman Panualo.
Okay, Chairman Panuelo, you have the floor.
Speaker, thank you. After consultations with our Ways and Means Committee Chair and other committee chairs, I wish to offer the following floor amendment on CB 20-230 CD2. On page 7, line item. Well, I'll get there.
Shortage is subject to call of the chair.
State of Chair, Chairman Romulo.
No.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panualo. State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Orsma.
Again, I yield to Chairman Fakir.
Yes.
Chairman Fakir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 3 states voted for, 1 against.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. Don't thank me, thank the members, delegations for voting. For that reason, Congressional Bill number 20-230 CD3 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CB number 20-235 for second reading. CB number 235 is a bill for an act to further amend Section 12 of Public Law number 19-118 as amended by Public Laws numbers 19-125, 19-135, 20-1, 20-14, 20-23, 20-40, 20-46, and 20-74 to change the allotee for a certain line item for Chuk State and for other purposes.
Chairman Fakir.
Move for the passage of the bill on second and final reading.
It's moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CP number 20-235. Discussion. Any discussion? Yes, Florida Harbor.
Yeah, I didn't really have chance to read the bill thoroughly. May I just ask, why are we changing the allotee or true?
Chairman, who's that, Cullen?
Thank you very
Sir
much,
Pierre.
Mr. Speaker. The change of the allotee is requested by the state. This funding was appropriated in Congressional 17 or 16, and this money has not been moved. That's the purpose of that. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay. Is that Clear?
Yeah, but we're trying to change the allottees from what allotee to what allotee.
Okay, can you help out, Chairman Cullen? From whom to whom? We know from to whom, but from whom?
From president to state.
All right, any further discussion? If none, if there's no objection, discussion is closed. So let's vote by roll call of delegations.
State of Chuk, Chairman Romulo.
Yes.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panuelo.
Aye.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmal. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted for.
For that reason, CP number 20-235 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CB number 20-237 for second reading. CB number 20-237 is a bill for an act to amend Public Law number 20-93 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-93 and 20-120 by amending Section 1 thereof to change use of funds previously appropriated therein to fund priority infrastructure projects and other public projects and social programs in the state of Kushai and for other purposes.
Chairman Figueroa.
Move for the passage of the bill on second and final reading.
It's moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading, CB number 20-237. Discussion. Any discussion? If none, there is no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote by roll call of delegations for 3 sessions. Congress is back in session. We're supposed to vote, but first, Chief Clerk,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the title of this bill, on the first line of the title, it says to amend Public Law 20-93 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-93. It should be 20-98. So
Okay.
just a bit
it's
correction.
a
on that.
technical correction, so the record will reflect that the appropriate changes will be made. Okay, call the roll.
State of Chuk, Chairman Romulo.
Yes.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panuelo.
Aye.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmal. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted for.
For that reason, CB number 20-237 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CB number 20-242 for second reading. CB number 20-242, it's a bill for an act to further amend Public Law number 20-53 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-57, 20-61, 20-69, 20-91, and 20-96 by amending sections 3 and 5 thereof to change the use and allotment of funds previously appropriated therein for the purpose of funding priority infrastructure projects and other projects and programs in the state of Pohnpei and for other purposes.
Chairman Figueroa.
Move for the passage of the bill on second and final reading.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading, CB number 20-242. Discussion. Any discussion? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote by roll call of delegations.
State of Chuk, Chairman Romulo.
Yes.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panuelo.
Aye.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmal. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted in favor.
For that reason, CP number 20-242 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Speaker,
Chairman Berman, we still have a bill to finish up. You want to withdraw some? Let's finish up this one, the most important one, actually. Chief Clerk, next bill.
Yeah, the next one, Mr. Speaker, is the Functional Act number 20-101. This is for repassage of the this is a veto override.
Okay. Chairman Fakir. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Chief Clerk. Next bill.
Speaker,
Are we still in discussion?
We're still in discussion, yeah, that's what. No, short recess. Okay. Congress is back in session. Chairman Fakir, you have the floor.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I move that Congress repass Congressional Act number 20-101.
Second.
Any second? It's okay. There's moved and seconded that Congress repass Congressional Act number 20-101. Discussion? Any discussion?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Vice Speaker Moses, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. During our recess, our good chairman on TNC made expressed concern if this override will affect the bill that we just passed, the supplemental bill, which included the 70 million in MRA. And in this bill that we're going to override, it requires that 50% of the MRA revenue be deposited into the trust fund. Okay, is this putting a limit? That's all we can put into the trust fund is 50%? Because if that is, the current bill hasn't become law, but if we pass this, it becomes law immediately. So would that cause the supplemental, the portion on MRA to become 35? Or will it be a conflict? I just wanted on the record that maybe it might, maybe it won't. Or it might, it will, and it will not. Just to clarify that. Because that bill will not become law until the president signs. If this bill becomes law, it states that 50% of the MRA revenue will be deposited into the trust fund. But the bill that's awaiting passage by the president, or signature or not, states that 70 million will go into the trust fund. Now, if we pass this, it becomes law. It states that 50% goes into the trust fund. Would that mean that we can only deposit 35 million, or it's okay that we go ahead with the whole 70 million?
Okay, valid, legitimate point. Vice Speaker Moses. Chairman Fakir, you want to
Yeah, thank you. And I
respond
think
to that?
Yeah, I think, and I thank the Vice Speaker for a very good question. The bill, if we override and the bill, the act becomes law, it would not affect. The 50% would not affect the, go into effect until the future revenue realized from the corporate income tax. What we have right now, it's not going to affect that. It happens before the law becomes effect. On the question of whether the 50% will hold up or lock up us, that we cannot only require 50% to go automatically into the trust fund, that 50% is guaranteed. However, it does not prevent the Congress from appropriating more into the trust fund if it so wishes. Am I?
So recess, Mr. Speaker.
So recess.
I think this is a very
I think
difficult question.
before we go into recess, I want the response to Vice Speaker's concern on the record. Yes, but we can go into recess and talk some more and come back, and I want someone to answer that question on the record, okay? Short recess subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on discussion of the act that was vetoed.
Question. Second.
Okay, question's been called for. There's no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote by roll call of delegations. Chief Clerk.
State of Joke, Chairman Romlo.
A big yes.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panuelo.
Aye.
State of Koshai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmao. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted for.
For that reason, the veto by President of CA number 20-101 has been overridden, or we now repassed Congressional Act number 20-101. Next bill.
Short recess, please.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on the bill calendar. Next bill, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, we have CB number 20-234, CD1 for second reading.
Chairman Ursula, Chairman Figueroa.
Thank you, Speaker. I move for the passage of the bill on second and final reading.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CB number 234 CD1. Discussion.
Question.
Questions being called for. If there is no objection, discussion is closed. So let's vote by roll call of delegations. Chief Clerk.
State of Joke, Chairman Romlo.
Yes.
State of Pohnpei, Chairman Panuelo.
Aye.
State of Koshai, Chairman Wali. Yes. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmao. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted in favor.
For that reason, CP number 20-234 CT1 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Speaker.
Next bill, Chief Clerk.
None, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Chairman Berman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We'd like to make a motion to withdraw CP number 20-183. Place it on our bill calendar for today. Second.
Short recess. Congress is back in session. There's a motion to withdraw and place CP number 20-183, which was seconded. Those in favor of that motion say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, nay. The bill has been withdrawn and placed on the bill calendar for action. It's first reading. So, Chief Clerk. Read the title.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, CP number 20-183 is a bill for an act to amend Title 25 of the Code of the Federal States of Micronesia as annotated, as amended, by adding a new Section 309 to provide for the banning of the importation of styrofoam and plastic cups, plates, and individual food containers, and plastic shopping bags, and for other purposes.
Chairman Berman.
Motion to pass first reading the said bill.
It's moved and seconded that Congress pass CB number 20-183 on first reading. Discussion. Any discussion?
Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. May I just ask what implications and impact this may have on our small and very weak economy?
Chairman.
Yes.
Berman.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, the impact of this styrofoam, plastics, and everything, we've seen it all over the world, and it's in our backyard. It's increasing polluted, and by our economy, as he asked. If you notice, one of the states has passed a law for the same intention to ban this. But the main issue here is that they're having problem because they're not also at the custom level, at the national level, to actually see these things are not coming into the states.
So they've actually requested us if we can do it at the national level, so because they're not part of the customs. So if we can do it.
Good.
Okay, so that's, Chairman Usman,
Yeah,
continue.
I know the state of Yap may have been the first state that banned use of plastics in the stores. And it's been very successful. There is no ban on importation of plastics into Yap, but they have stopped people and stores, businesses from giving out plastics. You go to the store, you come with your box or paper bags or things that are biodegradable, but not. So I don't know. It can be done in Yap. I'm sure it can be done anywhere else.
Speaker.
Okay, Chairman Panuelo, you have the floor.
Yeah, Speaker, I really applaud the intention of the bill. I think some of the states are moving ahead of the FSM in this case, and we control imports, we tax imports, and FSM must be the one to lead in this manner. We do a lot of cleanups around our islands, and I think this is the first step. The law can always be amended to fine-tune it as we progress ahead. And also, I think the private sector will also adapt to the kind of alternative packing and packaging that they will have to import for customers around businesses or in the private sector. So I support the bill. Let's move ahead, and we can always fine-tune it as we head into the future. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Panuelo. Any other discussion? Is there a transition clause where you give notice to business so they can adjust?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As of now, like I said, at the state level, they're doing it, but I guess they needed our national support too. So I'm hoping by doing this, because they're already in the process of taking care of the what's in the bill, I think the transition already started when those laws, and if it's like what Chairman Urusumal said, in Yap, they've already started it, and it's working there. Pohnpei is the one having issues now. Thank you.
Speaker, subject to call to chair. Congress is back in session. Chairman Berman, make your motion.
Motion to defer action on the said bill to our next session or special session.
It's moved and seconded that CP number 20-183 be deferred to the next session of Congress. And please, Chairman, do what you need to do. Okay, so let's vote. Those in favor of the motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Said bill CP number 20-183 has been deferred to the next session of Congress. Next bill.
There are no more, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Next item.
Speaker, I move that we recess until tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Congress stand in recess until tomorrow at 10 in the morning. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Congress now stands in recess until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.